All right, so welcome everybody to AV Educates, AV Tech Talks. Today is episode 3 of, I don't even know what today is. I'm sorry, July 13th, 2020, Monday, episode 3 at 07. All right, so or 7 o'clock is our time frame every Monday, right? So again, welcome back. I am your creator of AV Educate, Omar Colom. I'm here with Chris Brown, the streamer, our IT guy. The brains of the operation is Ed Willock here, who's with us today. Our special guest on today's episode is Jason Liermann. He's going to go over the Atem Mini. We're going to do some hands-on. We're going to have a couple steps for you guys, and we're going to do some Q&A live between the Zoom call and between the chats on Facebook. So if you can hear us, just give us a quick little shout out on Facebook Live, and we will stop sharing this screen and show you the Zoom call and get started right on now. Okay, I see some thumbs up on my side. And I see some comments going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop my screen share and bring you to the audience. So welcome everybody, and thank you again for being here with us on AV Tech Talks. Here is our Zoom panel where we ask questions openly to the community. We kind of collab on everything. We've got a special guest today, which would be Jason Liermann. We are hosting this with Ed Willock, which is on my left, and Christopher Brown on my right, who's our IT and our brains guy, and they will be jumping in with us as well to help answer any of your questions live and out in the field. So let me stop talking like always, right? And introduce you guys and let you guys take them here. So we'll go from myself to Ed to Chris, and then we'll jump to Jason so you can take over this whole stream.
Great. So yeah, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. It's been a pretty hectic week and weekend, so I'm going to do a little less talking today and let Jason really just dive into this as soon as he's ready. Just some general housekeeping rules though. Anyone on the panel, if you've got some questions, as usual, we're gonna just give a little raise of the hand and we'll get your question in. If you're in on Facebook, please leave questions or your thoughts in the comments. And we will post in the comments if you want to be part of our panel and get into the Zoom room. It's too late to get in today. We do close the door every day, every time we stream at 5 of the hour. So it's too late to get in today. But if you want to be in for next week or any future week, we'll post in the chat how you can do that. Everybody here has been here, it looks like, for a handful of these. I don't think there's any new faces I see except for Pepe, who's going to be also doing some showing us the ATAEM. Really appreciate him being here. Cool. So with that, I'll let Chris do his bit, and then we'll dive into Jason.
Hey everybody, I'm the IT/OBS operator. I'm the stream guru. Victor is new. He hasn't been here before, so I just wanted to point that out. So Pepe and Victor are some of our new ones on the panel today. Usually you're hearing me talk for 2 hours. You're not hearing me talk today, so your ears can stop bleeding. We're good to go. But I'll jump in if Jason or Pepe or anybody has any issues with trying to converse anything to OBS, as well as Ed will jump in with any audio issues or anything like that that he can help explain. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw it over to Jason, and we'll start off on the Atem Mini.
Cool. All right, so jumping right into it, the Atem Mini, when it came out a while back, as soon as it was on pre-sale, I saw it, I read up on it, and I was like, there's no way that this little thing at $295 can do what they're saying it can do. And my daughters, they have a YouTube show, and I thought, what better way to purchase something that, you know, if it doesn't do the things they say it does, then I'm only out a little bit, but I can teach them what I do on a day-to-day basis, whether it's breakout tech with a switcher in the room or whether it's doing a bigger show. And so I purchased them. And, you know, the Pro is out now. I won't get into that. But you know, for what it is, it's amazing. And the thing that I love the best about it, and I'll get into more, is the fact that unlike most ATEMs, your video standard, every piece of equipment that you plug into that switcher has to be the exact same video standard. The Atem Mini as you'll see here shortly, it doesn't matter. It plugs in, it has a scalar. That doesn't mean that some of it will be the best quality. It just means that I purchased it for the reason that I needed it for. And if I'm in a breakout and something goes wrong, which I have a mock-up later on to show you guys, it'll work. I don't have to, you know, sit there and switch everything for the client and take 10, 15, 20 minutes to do it. I can literally have it plugged in, put together, and on a projection screen immediately. So, you know, that being said, the price point is one reason why I purchased the Atem Mini. The size of it is another reason. It's only about 9x4, which you'll see momentarily. It's tiny. And I can fit it in a carried bag. I can fit it on my carry-on bag if I'm traveling. You know, it's a great piece of equipment to have. And if I'm in a breakout and I need it, it's not a huge piece of equipment that I have to pop my Pelican open, pull it out, and get all this stuff out. It fits right in my backpack comfortably. So, you know, that being said, I'm going to kind of dive in on a quick, you know, just a description of what it is. I'm not going to dive into the software side of things. The reason why I'm not going into the software side of things is because the reason that I purchased it was for immediate use. Yes, I understand there's macros. The software, you can change so many things in there. You can add stills to it. However, for what I bought it to use it for, I wanted to be able to pull it out of the box. No firmware update, no anything, literally pull it out of the box, plug it in, and have it up and running. And that's what I did for you guys tonight. So you guys could see why I purchased it and the ability to do that. So I'm going to switch this camera over to here so that you can actually see it. Now, this is the Atem Mini. As you can see, it's rather small. It has 4 inputs. All of them are HDMI. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all inputs. And like I said before, generally Blackmagic switchers, whatever the video standard that you pick, if you pick 1080p or you pick 1080 60i, every piece of equipment that you plug into this switcher would have to be the exact same video standard. Otherwise, you get a black screen, or you'd have to find some way to convert that into the same signal so it would read it. With this, it has a scalar. Case in point, this view, as you can see right here, is 720 by 60. This is a GoPro Hero 3. I have the 7, I have an 8, I have a few different ones, but I'm not going to use them because I wanted to show that this old camera, I pulled off the shelf, threw it into my mix, and now I have, at 720, I have something that you can physically see right away. I also have this camera, which is a Canon C100. It is sending out 1080 60i. It's a prosumer camera, and as you can see, it's, you know, I haven't done anything with lighting or anything for it. I just want it to be seen. It has a different video standard, but you can still see it. And then I have my third view, which you're looking at here, which is a Sony Handycam, and it is doing 1080p. So I have a 1080i, a 1080p, and a 720p video standard going into it, and you can still see all of them. They're all going through 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's an output on this, only one. This is where a lot of people will run into problems for bigger shows. There is no multicam, so I can't see all of my channels at one time. Unless I have a piece of equipment, which I believe Pepe, I believe he had one where he could see his views. But it's also an auxiliary out. So you can, in the software, change this to be either the preview, where you see what's coming up next, your program, which is what we're looking at now, which is my output wherever I want to go, or I can change it to ISO any one of my inputs. So if I had just one camera that I wanted to show to everybody else, literally I could go into the software and pick 1, 2, 3, or 4, and it would ISO output from my output. I have a USB-C, which literally comes out of this into a laptop, and it sends out a 1080 stream and it allows my my laptop to believe that it's a webcam, which is insane. That's another reason why I purchased it. This piece of equipment is making my laptop believe that it is a webcam. We know it's not. We're looking at it, it's a switcher. We know that, you know, there's multiple cameras in here, but my camera that you're seeing right now on this Zoom believes that this is my webcam right now, my one single shot, which is amazing because I have multiple shots that I can go back and forth to. It has the power, which is, you know, normal. And then on each input, 1, 2, 3, or 4, you have this row here. This is your audio section. What this does is this allows you to, the AFV allows you to pick your audio follows your video. Meaning if on camera 3, I had the audio that you hear now, and I wanted people when I'm on camera 3 to hear this audio, but on camera 1, we have that camera in a separate room with a person who's talking, and I want that audio to come right directly through that camera. I would click that, and when I take 1, you would hear the audio that is coming from that camera. I don't know if you can hear it. I know I can hear it out of my TV over here. But you have the on and off, which is you either choose to have it on or off if you want audio to come through that channel at all. I'm choosing not to because I'm using the internal audio on the laptop. But you have the off and the on that actually turns on your audio so you can hear it, or off. And then you have these little triangle buttons. That allows you to turn up the volume for the audio for that channel. So if I have it on and I can physically turn up the volume or turn down the volume, and then I hit reset fast and it will reset it back to Unity. So this is everything that you have here is audio. You have, like I said, the audio follows the video. You have your on or off if you want it on the whole time or off the whole time. If it's on, you can raise your volume up or down. And if in a split second you need to get it back to Unity, you hit reset and automatically brings your audio back to Unity. Before I move on, is there any questions at all that anybody might have? I can't see, you know, I know I'm moving kind of fast. I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Yes, sir.
I got nothing on the Facebook side, but I did want to see if we can, if we can for a moment, can we jump over to the Pepe one to see the multi-viewer you were talking about, just to get a reference on what we're looking at? I see a question on our side about that.
Yeah, keep in mind that the Mini and the Pro is different. So one you could see, this is Henry, one you could see, the Pro you can see a multi-view, the Mini you can't.
Okay, so the difference is the Mini doesn't have a multi-viewer and the Pro does have a multi-viewer. Is that what we're saying? Okay, cool. So Pepe, yeah, so if we could take Pepe, you want to share your screen to the Zoom call, we can show real quick what we're looking at with yours. So we're seeing the difference right now, guys, between the Atem Mini that Jason has and the Pro version and that multi-viewer that he's showing right here. So does everybody feel comfortable with that? They got a good grasp of that? Sorry, I stopped for dramatic effect. If we feel good on that part, I still don't see any questions on the Facebook side. I feel like we're good to keep going. Let's just keep killing it.
Okay, so I'll get right back into it. So here we have mic 1 and mic 2. It gives you the ability, you have 2 audio inputs in here. I'm not gonna get too deep into the audio side of things because again, I purchased this to use for if I'm in a breakout and I need it, and 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna have an audio DI that's going into a mixer. So my audio is going to come out of whatever device they use, the video whatever the client uses, the video signal will come out of the switcher itself. So if I was going to use a microphone here, I have the ability on this mic input to turn it on or off to where it's continuous or it's off. I also have the ability to change the volume, put it up or down. And then in the software, I can delve in even deeper and be able to make those minute adjustments that you may need. Mic 2 is the exact same thing. If I continue to move this way, each channel is identical as far as with the audio and the video. You get to here, you have the option for black. To me, it's pretty much the same as fade to black, which is down here, but it's just a little bit closer. If something happens and I'm in the middle of something and the client accidentally puts something on screen that they don't want to see, I can hit the black. We're at black screen now, then I can take back when we're ready to go and we're good. Still allows you to add images in the software to the still store. You can add up to 20 images, and which is pretty cool. You add the images in there and then you can literally pull those images up. Again, that's in the software. I'm not going to delve too deep in that, but it gives you the option to right here, if you're doing something and you need to put something up on screen and you have the still saved, or you have they have a flyer for their after party or something, whatever they have, you can pop it up there and it's good to go. Moving further, you can't really see it because it's lit up. You have cut, which is my personal favorite, and you know, it gets you where you need to go quickly. With cut, whatever I cut, I'm cutting directly to my next shot quickly. If I get into auto, that allows you to get into the transitions. The transitions, here you have the option for your duration. You have either a half a second, a full second, 1.5 seconds, or 2 seconds. That's how long it's going to take for my shot to transition from one to the other, And get back here. This gives you the options to change your transition, this area right here. So we have, if I pick this, it's going to dissolve sideways. If I pick this one right here, oh, you got to see it. If I pick this one right here, it's going to dissolve down. If I pick this one, it's the same. It's going to continue to give you different options for your transitions. This one, my daughter loves this one the most because it squishes the video. It just squishes it. And then you have mix, which is your dissolve transition, which slowly just takes it nice and smooth. But as you can see, for some reason, it locks up on this one, which you definitely don't want on a show, which is why I choose to use cut. So I'm cutting directly from place to place to place. But then you also have dip. Dip allows you to, it dips to a color. No matter what it is, it defaults to white. So right now you're seeing the white, which is the default color. You can go into the software and change that color if you choose to. You can make it any color you want. So if your client's color is sky blue and they want every image to dip to sky blue, then you can change that in the software and change it to sky blue. I'm gonna leave, and then FTB is fade to black. This is good for if you're done with the show and you're doing records and you're ready to go and the show is done, we're out, and fade to black. And then we're coming back into the next session. Let's start, let's fade back up. So that's what this button is. It's basically fade to black. So moving up further, we have our picture-in-picture, which I think is very awesome with this piece of equipment. It gives you the option for if you have a small-scale basketball game, let's say, and they don't have the budget for multiple cameras and they don't have the budget to plug you into everything. You have 2 cameras. You shoot one for the game and one on the scoreboard, and you can put the scoreboard in the PIP, the picture-in-picture. You just turn it on and you pick, as you see, this is allowing it to be in the bottom left corner. If I pick up top, it moves it to the top. The right corner up top, or the right bottom. Now, it defaults to what you see here. Inside of the software, again, you can change the parameters if you want to make that the picture-in-picture a little bigger, or you want to move it a little bit more to the center or to the up or to the down. If you want to move it, you can actually get into the software and do that yourself. but it's pretty awesome that it gives you that, because some of the other ATEMs that are much more expensive, they don't give you that option. You have to figure out other ways to do it. And then finally, you have the key, which allows you to put logos or lower thirds, or if you have a green screen in the background, you can key that green out. If you have an alpha channel with a lower third, you can put all those, you load those into the software again, and then through the software, you turn that on and you can bring those into your production very easily. However, you cannot do that. You cannot add animated bugs. You got a question, Omar? Oh, no? Yeah, you cannot add animated bugs. So that's one thing that I don't like. However, you know, you just add on channel 4, you add a graphics computer, and there's your animated bugs. You figure out a way to get all that stuff in there. And, you know, so basically, I'm going to go and see if we have any questions. Omar, it looked like you had one.
Oh, no, Ori he was raising his hand a little bit ago. He's first.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So the fade to black, does that also take cues from the duration buttons?
No, it doesn't. It is literally, it fades to black. I have not went in, again, I haven't went deep into the software to see if I can change that. The other things that I said were in the software, I've either read on that or found that out there in ATEM world. For the fade to black, I have not looked up any information whether or not you can change the duration of that, but the duration buttons, let me click to it. I love when you're running behind yourself, Ori. All right, let's see. Of course, I'm locking up now. So I just locked up. Can you hear me though?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. I'm frozen. So the duration buttons that you saw earlier, literally only control the transition effects. That's all that they control at all, period. We had this issue earlier where, okay, there I am.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Omar, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to see, Pepe, I see your console, because it's the Pro version, has slightly different setups here. Can you talk to us through the slide between the Mini and the Pro here with what I'm seeing on your camera?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. This is I'm putting my phone, so this is the signal from my phone. So that's really nice for you to see that, you know, even a phone, you can use it with your HMI cable. And here you have the MV, so the multi-view. So right now I have it here. If I change the program, let me see if I can, you see, so I can change the program and I can change the camera. So which one I want to output. So even if you're like recording internally, if you want to record just the camera 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, or maybe sending to another place, you can do it too. So in this case, I'm gonna go back here and I have my multi-view. And the other part is you have rack, so you can record using like a hard drive, and you can go on air, so go live. So this one you can set up, you know, the RTMP and all that, and go live straight from the Atem Mini Pro.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Can you send that record to like a hyperdeck as well?
I don't know, but you know, like in the back here we have the USB-C. And you can hook up like a hard drive and just press rec, and it's gonna be recording straight to your hard drive. I know you can go to the software and do some setup to see like the size and the bit rate and things like that.
And real quick, let's go to Bodhi had his hand up, and then we'll go to Zachary.
Yeah, my question was more for the audio. What mic inputs does it accept?
3.5. So it accepts the little small headphones. Some microphones have those already. You know, so you know, I wasn't going to dive into the audio, but I do have a large mixer. So I did run multiple wireless labs that I had here and a handheld into that mixer. And then I sent out through RCA into 8th into it, 8th being the 3.5. And I was able to pick up signal that way. So it will take a signal. It just depends on, you know, I haven't delved deep into the audio part of it because, like I said, I'm walking into a breakout with the mind frame that they have a DI already set out, because that 90% of the switchers they put in there, they're not running audio out of it. They have the audio separate. So, but yes, 3.5.
The reason, just so everyone knows, the reason I'm asking that question is, again, the streamer side here. We have our own mixers, we have our own headsets, we have our own mics that we use. Not everybody uses the same type of mic in streaming world. For me, I'll try to go really quick. Really quick. So this is why I'm asking, because that's my mixer.
Right.
That I use on my stream. I use the Go XLR.
Yeah.
So I can do an auxiliary out from it. So if I was to use this on a mobile setup, I wanted to know if they would be able to plug something like this into it and still use an XLR mic that's plugged into the back there and all my other audio setups that I have.
As long as there's a way for you to convert whatever your output is into a 3.5, it would work. And that would be more of an Ed thing, because Ed is the audio guru, as he's sitting in that multi-billion-dollar studio of his.
So yeah, one of the things I'm going to do in the coming weeks, I see a lot of the questions on like the ATEM Mini forum on Facebook, the Facebook groups, where there's a lot of confusion about how that audio works. It is so there's two inputs, which actually can be two stereo inputs if you're going in line level and not mic level. So if you have like a little shotgun mic for your DSLR that terminates to a mini plug, an 1/8 inch, it can do that. It can handle that mic. If you're going to come out, like Jason was saying, he had an adapter that goes to stereo mini from a line level source. You do have to go into the software and change it to line level. So there's that, and then you can split. You can also split it from being stereo to being 4 separate mono sources. So there's a few things you can do in the software. The important thing is that the ATEM Mini and the Mini Pro, it can't take, if you pinned your Pro audio console and redlined it, you're going to overload that input. It's more almost like consumer line level, like a -10 versus a +4 dBu. So I'm going to dive into that on an upcoming, including like if you want to build your own cable or what things are commercially available. One of the big recommendations I keep seeing is by Art. It's called the, it's escaping me at the moment. It'll come to me. I'll find it, and I'll see if I can share a link to it. But it's a box that takes balanced line level in, spits out, consumer line level out on RCAs, and then you do an RCA Y to a mini, and you can get into it, and you'll be in a better place than if you just convert an XLR to a mini. That will not sound good. If you just take an XLR to 1/8 inch cable, that's not going to sound good, because XLR, basically those little rings on the mini correspond to the pins on the XLR, and pin 2 and 3 are out of phase with each other on an XLR. So you'll get cancellation in your audio if you run just a straight single XLR with those adapters into the mini. So if anybody's tried that and all of a sudden it sounds like garbage, that's why. So yeah, we will dive very much into that on another one, because audio seems to be something that I'm seeing a lot in all the forums and the Facebook groups, and I keep posting very lengthy posts about it. So you can search my stuff on there or hit me up on Facebook, and I will gladly help people. But we are gonna dive into that in a couple weeks. I think Omar had a question.
Well, yeah, no, I just want to jump. Zach, you had something as well, and then after you, I want to jump to Pepe and talk about the comparison we have between what we talked about already and the Pro setup he has, so you guys can see the difference in setups with multiple streamers. So Zach, what was your question?
Oh, I was jumping back to the video side. Do either of these boxes have the ability to like hardware grab a still from one of your inputs to use as like a quick frame, like a logo or something, or is that only possible from the software?
I'm gonna be honest, I have not checked into that because of the still situation that I had, that it has, being able to upload those stills. But I have not looked to see if it has a freeze frame or a still. That makes sense. That's a you know, a real good thing to look in.
It'd be nice for like a plug and play backup, you know, switcher to throw in your bag.
Absolutely.
So Pepe, let's jump to you. I think you can get answers to both of those real quick, huh?
Yeah, I have the still here from one of my shows that I do.
But put it in English.
Yeah, sorry. This is in Portuguese, guys. So this is the show that I do for my people, for my channel. It's all in Portuguese. So I have a still here. You can like load like 20 of those, and you can change it internally with the software, okay? Another thing that I want to show you guys is I have a little mixer here, 8-channel.
Yep.
So I'm using my little microphone coming from here. Let's see if you guys can see it. And going to here and then coming to my Atem Mini. And one of the things that is pretty good right now, they did a update, and now you can have the delay, because that was a big issue that people was having because the HMI, and now you have the delay. So now you have the audio that you can sync it really good.
Nice. And just to confirm, Pepe, so I own an ATAEM, obviously not the Mini or the Pro. I own the one before that with the web presenter before that. So my setup is kind of, I guess, old school now.
Yeah.
For the way for me to get a logo in there would either be to, one, get a hyperdeck, which I own, to do that on the fly, or two, to use the computer software and do it through the ATEM software side of that. Is that still correct for these Minis and these Pros?
Yeah, the same thing. You can do it, but you need to do the software, and maybe you need to do like a PNG file and upload it there and then put it back here.
So do both of you guys, the Mini and the Pros, have the media player button, the MP button? Is that a quick button you guys have on yours? So like my ATEM Mini has a little MP button on mine.
Yeah, it has MP1, MP2 should have.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Ours just has still.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still, so
Mine has still.
different. Okay.
And
well, you can still do a still. It's still a media player.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And what it is it's coming from they call it the still store. And literally it's the same thing. It's the media player. I can upload 20, just like Pepe was saying. And then I pick and choose which ones are going to be there for that. Let me go to, so you can see it. Then I can literally go to, if it goes, it might not want to mess with me for whatever reason. But anyway, yeah, so the still allows it to click over to whatever image is in your media store at that time. This thing doesn't like my...
And then let me just jump to Henry real quick here and throw him on the bus. Henry owns the advanced ATEM, correct? Advanced ATEM, the 4ME.
I have the 1ME Studio,
right?
4K with the advanced control panel.
The advanced control panel. I'm sorry. That's what I was trying to say. Does the advanced control panel have a way for you to do the logo thing from there, or you also still need to have the computer hooked up to do it as well on that?
You still, no matter what, you still have to use the software to upload all your still store, your logos, and your lower thirds. You still have to do it through the software.
And then just to backtrack back one more time before we move forward between Jason and Pepe here. Do you know if the ATEM Minis and the Pros accept a hyperdeck source in?
Yeah, I think, you can do it.
Okay.
With the software, yeah.
The Mini accepts through the network, which I'm trying to, there's a network port in the back of the Mini as well. And that is used if you want to A, control it from the software, or B, you want to control a hyperdeck. And then you can go into the software and you pick what hyperdeck you want, multiple hyperdecks if you have that option. And you're able to send it directly to the hyperdeck. You record directly to the hyperdeck, and then in store, pick your logo or pick your still, pull that off the way that we were talking about before.
Got it. Very cool.
Keep in mind, keep in mind, it doesn't matter if you get the Mini, the Pro, the 1ME, the 2ME, the software is going to look exactly the same, no matter what.
Let me, before we jump to Chris real quick, I see your hand up right now. Andres, Is there a way outside that you would use an audio board outside of the ATEMs to fix the problems with the delays? On your, if you, let's say you just had a board, I don't know what board you'd need, but is there a way on the board side for audio to send a delay to the ATEMs?
Well, it depends. If you have like a Yamaha QL or something like that, you can delay the outputs of it and have them on it, and then just feed it to the Atem Mini. Another thing you could do is for all those stills, you could have them on Companion or something other than Companion, and just run them in and throw them in and change them behind, and then you just select the still to it.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there a way, and sorry, Chris, I'm gonna come to you next. Is there a way, I guess a generic, just understanding that someone who's, let's say an audio guy and a video team are together and they're doing this, that they can figure out that delay that's happening in the Zoom side to solve it on the console side other than just the ATEM side? Like, do you possibly know what the answer would be to like, hey, okay, you need to do X, Y, Z to figure out your delay or how much it is on your side?
If you figure out beforehand, for example, it's 10 milliseconds of delay that you gotta put in, yes, you could do that on the console side and then just feed it to your Atem Mini.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, so Chris, I'll let you jump in real quick before we go back to Pepe.
So my question was, is you guys, so Henry, Jason, and Pepe all said that it has to be software side. Is there a switcher out there that has the ability to load still images up? I'm going to have to say there probably isn't. Is there? There is a switcher that you can load to it? Because that seems to be something that's kind of has to be kind of software based to load it in to tell it what it's going to do, right?
Well, in a way, the Mini, yes, there's software and you're uploading those into your still store. But once they're uploaded to the still store, they actually upload them into the box itself, and they're stored in the box. So you
right? No. I understand that. That my point is you're using software to get it into your switcher. Is there a switcher that you can take like an SD card and stick it in and go, here's my images?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like analog ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of especially the
analog
larger
and
event switchers. You can do that. I'm using tonight, for example, the Roland V60 HD, and you can load off of a USB, or you can do a capture from an input, or from a program, or from your preview. A lot of the bigger analog way or barcode switchers can pretty much all do that.
Okay, I was just curious because as a IT background guy, to anything that you're encoding or anything that you're trying to send a signal to something, it has to be brought up in software somewhere. So in an analog situation, you're able to load images into an analog situation, but you're still loading the images into that switcher itself, right? It's just not software based.
Right.
Well, so there are some switchers that can live capture a still. So if you load
okay, so maybe I wasn't asking. Ed, you just answered my question. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I was trying to get at. Is there a live capture still that you can have, or does it all have to be software based loaded?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any Black Magic switchers that do a live capture.
No, that's why they're so cheap.
Right. But there are definitely high-end switchers and some not even so high-end switchers that'll still do live captures. You know, if you put a PowerPoint up on an HDMI source, you can capture, you know, the still right from there, and then it still stores it into the switch's flash memory.
So, okay, all right, that was my question. I just wanted to. Everything seems software-based, so I was just seeing if there was any type of switcher out there that could live capture a still frame that you could reuse over and over again, and you just answered that. So
and usually when you capture a live source, it's going to lock up your switcher for a little bit of time while it stores it to flash memory. So
yeah, it's like the 902, the barcode 902, or if you use like the pose, analog wave pose, or the quick view,
the E2 will do it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So it sounds like software based is a little better though, because it's not locking up your switcher and it's something you can use live.
Right. And you can, I mean, somebody could hand you a hard drive with 100 pictures and I can just import them right into the switcher's memory without missing a beat.
The Blackmagic sort of media player feature is kind of different conceptually from a lot of the other families of switchers because there are animation possibilities. You can play a lot of things, and you can do some interesting, logo and playback options as well. So they come at it from sort of a different conceptual way, which frankly, when you're live on a show site, loading stuff via the software can be a pain in the neck. Versus sometimes you want to just be able to hit on your console live capture. Just do it now while we're in a slow moment of the show. But there are a lot of other great features that the media player kind of gives you access to. And what's great about Blackmagic is if you know this software window, if you open it up on the Mini or the Pro, it's going to be the same software window that you're going to see on any of those family of products.
Cool.
So let me just jump to, I think Pepe had something you wanted to say a little bit ago, but before we get to there, I see the chat blowing up a little bit about the audio side. So just a recap, Ed did say in a few weeks, we'll be going into a deep dive of that, a little more detailed on that. So I don't want to stay in it for too long, but I want to make sure while Pepe is talking here, Aaron, did we answer your question that you had for the crew here? Did we not miss it? Is James Banks kind of answering you there? If not, let me know in the comments real quick here, and I'll jump back to that before we move forward.
So Omar, I just put up so people can see it, the Clean Box Pro, that product I was talking about from Art. This box is one of those things that could be useful for people who are trying to get balanced audio out of a pro level audio console down to a better level for the ATEM minis. So this was the thing I couldn't think of the name of. I'll leave that up for a minute, and we can move on. Perfect.
Yeah. So Pepe, you were gonna say something as well.
Was about audio, just because I use some kind of piece of software called I use Mac, so I use it's audio hijack just to delay the audio. Sometimes I need to do that, so just people to know that you can do that with a piece of software. So.
Okay, and then. So again, Aaron, let me know if we've answered the question or not before we move forward. I just want to jump real quick to, I don't know if Patrick, were you going to say something? I saw you were on muted for a second. No? Okay, sorry about that. So Jason, the floor's back to you, brother. Unless Aaron hits me back up on Facebook, I think we answered his question effectively.
Okay, well, moving forward, another reason that I purchased this this piece of equipment, like I said, was the ability, because my daughters have their show. I wanted to be able to, one, show them how easy this was to use, and two, when they build up their following a little bit, allow them to be able to go live on Facebook or YouTube or wherever they are. So what I wanted to do was show just how easy that is, because again, well, first let me touch base like this. This ATEM Mini is not an encoder at all. You have to have another way to get it into your live stream, whether it's OBS Studios, whether it's a webcaster or something like that. Whereas the Pro, automatically, once you plug in your internet connection into it, you can stream live to whatever, wherever your stream key might take you directly without going to a third-party software. Myself, what I do is I go into OBS Studios, which is what, we've talked about, and Chris has been so amazing and given us so much information on. So I just wanted to show real quick, if I can share my screen, how easy it is to do that, and how easy it is to make Facebook believe and OBS Studios believe that you have one webcam when really you have a full-scale production if you want to. You have a slide deck, you have graphics, you have your multiple camera angles, and you can have multiple audio channels, like we were talking about. So let's see, let me screen share. I'm going to go to OBS Studios. All right, so now, can everybody see this? Okay, so in OBS Studios, it's really easy. I have a scene already. Hey, baby, I love you. Sorry about that, my speak of the devil, of the stars of the show. But anyway, so you literally go to sources. I'm going to hit the plus button. I'm going to go to a video capture device, because if you look at all these, it doesn't say camera anywhere, and we know that we're technically capturing video and bringing it in. So I'm going to pick that. I'm just going to name it ATEM Mini. hit OK. Go right here in this bar. I have the option of either using my onboard webcam that's on the laptop or the Blackmagic design. I'm going to pick that, and there you have it. I hit OK. I make this as big as I need it to be for whatever I'm going to do. If I have graphics already created, scenes, that's on OBS. Right now, I am up and ready. I can switch my my views. There's a delay, of course. There's always latency to the stream, but I'm able to switch my views. We're going to be back here. And then if I'm ready to stream, then I go to Facebook. Me, I just go right here. I would go to live video. It's going to bring up the information. I already have a solid stream key. I always have the same stream key. Chris explained how to do that. I just click here. In the bottom corner, let me move this so I can see it. I will go back to OBS and I will hit start streaming. I will go back to Facebook, and momentarily you'll see on this screen down at the bottom, it will pop up and it will show me what is streaming to it. It'll take a few minutes probably because it's loading up. And then I would just go in and I would add all my information. And once I add all my information and the video is going, I would put whatever I want, and then I would hit go live. And, you know, I don't know how long the latency is going to be on this one because I haven't, you know, set it up. You can see it's connecting now. But in less than a couple minutes, I'm up and running and ready to stream. There it is. That's what you see. I haven't went in and changed any quality, so I haven't changed anything in OBS, but that's literally how quick I can get into a live stream as well. You know, again, I would want to change certain parameters so it's a little smoother going into it, but I've done nothing. I've literally plugged all of my cameras into this switcher, and I've taken a USB-C and plugged it into my laptop, and my laptop said, hey, this is a webcam. And now I have 3 cameras, and, you know, I have 3 cameras and a slide deck or a graphics or whatever else I want to do right there at the palm of my hands. So now this little show could be huge. I could be doing an actual broadcast, or the girls could be doing an actual broadcast to their fans while one of them is switching it for the other. And they're 7 and 8, you know, so I can't put a 1ME or a 2ME in front of them and tell them just plug this in and figure it out. With this, literally you can plug it in and tell somebody who doesn't know much about video, they can see it. That doesn't mean everything will work, but literally they can plug it in and they're able to see everything that they want to see pretty darn quickly. And that being said, I'm going to get out of the screen share. Let me go back to Zoom.
Real quick, I'm going to jump in. For anybody that was here last week and did see the intro to OBS, we were talking about how to find your stream keys and things like that on Facebook. One of the things I did find about on Facebook is you can lock your stream key to where it doesn't rotate every day. So that is something that's changed recently. That's not something that's always been a feature. You've normally had to grab your stream key every so many, I think it was like your stream key was only valid for 5 hours in one stream basically. So every day you had to grab a new stream key. Right now they have the ability when you're not in what's called the level up program or the affiliate program, as Facebook is exploring into that now, where you can lock your stream key for 5 days. They give you the ability to lock it for 5 days. So if you're a Facebook streamer, or you're somebody who steadily streams to Facebook, or you've got a show that you're doing that they're streaming it to Facebook, you can lock that stream key for 5 days, where it's as simple as going, we're live, we're not, we're live, we're not. You don't have to go in and constantly in the background and update everything. So I just wanted to throw that in there, being we were talking about OBS and things like that.
Awesome.
So yeah, real quick before we move forward here again, Pepe, is your setup similar to what Jason has as far as, you know, I know you guys have one's mini, one's a pro, but is your setup very similar to what he just said, or is it slightly different at all?
No, totally the same thing.
Same thing? Okay.
The same thing. We use the same software and everything. So yeah, You can set up, and like the only thing that this one have the Ethernet port here, so I can like stream directly from the Atem Mini, so I don't need the computer. But I will need a computer to set up the first time. If I do for the same, you know, like Facebook channel or whatever, then I don't need the computer. But I need for the first time to set up, yes, I need a computer to put the RTMP and all of that.
So now my question is so I saw in your OBS, Jason, I don't know if it was just that you had it set up that way or it was the Mini making it go that way. I know you can't stream from your Mini, you can stream from the Mini Pro. Does it lock your FPS at 30 or can you up your FPS and
I'm sorry?
I was going to say, does it lock your FPS and lock your your definition, or can you change that?
I'll be 100% honest. I have not went in and tried to change it. That's why I said, you know, I was just up running, putting it where it was. Didn't even do my clap yet to see if I was on the right audio delay or anything else. There would be, you know, a lot of parameters that I would go in and work with and change prior to actually going live. But just to show the audience and the individuals that are watching with us how fast, if I wanted to, I can literally take this, plug it in, get to OBS, get to Facebook, and I already see my live. You know, that doesn't mean it's going to be right. Obviously, we know that we need to go in, change the parameters and do some things, and maybe we delve into that at another time. But definitely, I would want to change some things prior to going live, find out if I could change the FPS, because, you know, if I'm playing a game and I want people to see it, I want it to be 60 frames, correct, Chris? Not 30. Yep. So, you know, I would want to change these things and go into it, you know. Again,
then my next question is going to be, and this might be more for Pepe, because Pepe is using the Pro and you can stream directly for the Pro. Hold on, Henry. Hold on 1 second. Can you have monitor in? So can you take, for instance, I have my laptop. Can I send in video signal to the Atem Mini Pro for it to grab screen capture, basically what's on my laptop, and send it out? Or is it only accessing everything that it's put into as a webcam?
So you want to use a computer? So yeah, you can do it. You can use the HDMI out from your computer. So you're going to split your screen or even extend it. That's what you're saying. And then
again, this is coming from a streamer background. When I'm going on, again, I'm stepping out of my world and going into the AV world here, and I'm going to start working on shows with you guys and stuff like that. Well, I have a stream schedule that I try to stick to as much as possible. So that's where the Atem Mini Pro is becoming very interesting to me, because it requires a lot of encoding in order to stream. Well, the Atem Mini Pro encodes everything for you. So that's why I'm asking that specific question, as far as I have a laptop that can play the games perfectly fine, but I can't stream and play the games. The Atem Mini Pro now can encode everything for me. Can I get my game capture over to the Atem Mini Pro to be sent out?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So anybody watching that is a streamer, this is definitely something you're going to want to look into if you're a mobile streamer. Absolutely, because that little device that is 9x4 can encode an entire stream that takes something like this. Hold on, something like this monster right here, okay, to encode an entire stream at 1080p without glitching. So if it can handle what this PC, this is a $4,000 PC built right here to stream 1080p. That little $595 box can do what this does for you.
Yeah.
Just to put it into perspective.
Yeah. I like that. That's why we got you here, man. To give us that behind the scenes what's really important. So quick, I wanna open the floor real quick. We're getting to the hour mark here. I know Jason's got one more. I think you have one more section you're going to review, correct?
Yeah, one more quick section, but yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to know, Nate, Robert, Freddie, Victor.
Henry did have a question.
To Jason or Pepe or any of us real quick before we keep driving on and the next one, and then we officially open it up for all the Q&A you want.
Can I, let me see if I understood. Chris, Bodie, you asked like if with the Mini Pro, connect to your laptop via Ethernet, And then if you had like a video that you wanted to use to go back into the Mini Pro, you could get it from a hard drive, from the hard drive into the USB-C.
I'm live streaming. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to send the signal. So I'm trying to send the display signal to the Atem Mini Pro. So while I'm playing a game, it's capturing that live feed and streaming it out. And then I have a camera attached to it to where I can do a picture-in-picture and have my webcam and my live stream in the background. And it looks the same as if I'm at home. The only difference is not all my graphics are there.
So you'll plug into the USB-C port
to get display.
Yeah. If you look in the back, there's a USB-C.
Listen, it is my birthday. Does anybody want to donate one to me so I can mess around with it?
Happy birthday!
Save that for the end, but
you gotta sing a song.
Yeah, Pepe, tú puedes enseñarlo detrás de tuyo.
No.
Well, what he's saying, like, let's say my footage from this phone, it's coming from the laptop, so it's a feed, like it's a game that he's playing, and then we have a picture-in-picture of me over there. So yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Like I said, I shared this through my entire stream family. They see all of this. I share it with all of them. I have probably about 550 streamers that are linked to this so they can see this, and this is definitely something that could be very interesting to anybody who's going to be on the go like I am, hopefully here in the future once we start picking up some more work, that I can actually work with you guys to where I can just grab my laptop, we're done with the show that night, I can go to the hotel room and go, hey guys, we're live, let's roll.
Yes.
Nate, you got something?
Just hearing Chris say that makes me realize that a lot of well, at least for myself and probably some of the other people who are coming from an AV live events background, I'm interested in learning how to take what I know and bring it to the streaming world. But of course, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to come to this from the streaming side, like Chris says, who don't have the same expertise with how a traditional live event switcher works with layering and sort of the concept behind that. And that might be a place we want to go in the future to illuminate both sides, since that's what the ATEM is doing. It's kind of like a little feature light, but it does have a lot of those powerful live event solutions.
He is 100% right on that. That's why I've done, the moment I was told what the Atem Mini Pro was, I probably could tell you about the Atem Mini Pro just as well as anybody that's used it right now. One thing about me that you guys have either been with me on shows already know or know about me, once I want to learn something or once I'm interested in something or I learn something new, I figure it out to the T into the bottom dollar. Is point and reference. If it's worth using, I don't care if it's $1,000 machine. If it can produce me $2,000 worth of work out of $1,000 machine, I want it. You understand what I'm saying? The Atem Mini Pro is literally a $1,200 laptop and a $500 package. That's the size. That's relatively a little bit bigger than a freaking phone and can encode an entire stream. Are you kidding me right now? Like, that to me is where my interest comes in. And like you said, Nate, it has to do with, you guys are used to using stuff like this on live events. Right. I'm coming from a smaller background where before, what would you use? What does a normal switcher cost? $3,000, $4,000?
More. No. More. The one in my house is.
Do you see my point that I'm getting at right here?
Tens of thousands, hundreds.
You see my point. You're talking tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars for a switcher. They just created something for $600 that can do nearly the same exact thing that $100,000 to $10,000 switcher can do. Nearly. And why I say nearly is because I'm sure those other switchers have layering effects that can be brought in. Different things that they can do with it. And that's why, again, coming from a streamer, just a gaming streamer, not just an OBS engineer or just a gaming streamer standpoint, that product right there, Blackmagic better hold on to their asses, because that product right there can revolutionize mobile on the road streaming. End of story. End of story. It could take anybody who watches streams know, I'm sure any gaming stream knows who Dr. Lupo is. Anybody. Dr. Lupo does live events for charity streams for St. Jude. He literally just did one and raised over $1.5 million of charity for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. This is what this man does with his stream. He is a charity streamer. It's plain and simple. Plain and simple. He goes on events and on-road events and has to carry giant pieces of equipment with him to stream out of his hotel. Now he can buy a $500, $600 little thing with his Alienware laptop. I mean, granted, he's got the money to do it because he is a big streamer, but still, the fact that you can replace carrying 2 machines with you to do one thing is amazing.
Right.
Hey, so I just want to real quick. I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask anyways because it was asked in the Facebook community. Does anybody know where we can buy one of these at the moment? I think somebody might have one for sale. I'm not sure what his price range is.
No, he's not allowed to
Throw it
sell
out there.
it.
Someone's
No,
looking for one.
no.
Does anybody got one for sale or know where they could buy one?
I know mine. Mine that I bought for $295 is for sale for $595 because I want a Pro that you can't find anywhere.
B&H. No, B&H, and
Yeah.
They're still not shipping though.
For Jason,
B&H right now.
there's a contact right there if you want to buy one.
Yeah,
Ed,
I
you
bought
does-
mine in B&H and was in May, 19th of May, and that I just got like a week ago.
Yep.
B&H allows you to purchase it. When they ship it is when they come in stock. End of story.
Right. It
Which
does
is what-
seem that this week I've seen quite a few places posting that they've gotten the supply chain, gotten some of them in. I had ordered one from Marker Tech, and they told me it was going to be 6 to 8 weeks, and then it was in my hand 2 weeks later. And of course, I had bought another one in the meantime, so now I have a second one in a box that's unopened. But I actually saw people posting pictures of pallets of them that have come in stock. They could be gone by now, but try now, see if you can find somebody who has one, because I just happen to have seen a lot of places that got them in this week, and they're probably gone by now, but you can try.
So just a quick recap. Jason has one for sale at a good price, reasonable, and so does Ed. If you guys are interested, you might want to find them after this. Victor, you're gonna say something, Victor?
Yeah. How much? I mean, do they have them right now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, man. So I need to get one of those.
All right. So I think one's being sold already. So
yeah.
Jason online.
So, is it a pro?
Process.
I need a pro.
Yeah, the Pro. That's what I need. The Pro.
That's the one you got?
No, I got the Mini.
No, I need a pro.
Yeah. I did the same thing. When the Minis first came out, I bought mine when it was pre-sale. It took 6 months for me to get them. I bought 3 at $295 a piece. Now I wish I would have waited, got the Pro. I'd have bought 2 of those for the same thing, you know?
I had it at B&H, and they told me August.
Yep.
So I just canceled today, and a buddy of mine just got a shipment. So here in Miami, and he just sent me a picture of the box. So he has about 6 or 8. So I'll find out tomorrow.
There you go. So I have another one on Facebook.
Those
right
are pros.
now.
Those are the pros.
I got another question on Facebook. I'm sorry. Let me scroll back up here for 1 second. I lost it. The chat was blowing up there. Brandon's asking about cameras. Can anyone recommend a decent price camera that works successfully with the Atem Mini? Before you guys answer that question, though, I just want to touch real quick. Jason, I don't know if anybody's noticed this, and I'll let him explain it more. He is running multiple cameras into the Atem at multiple refresh rates and resolutions. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to show them real quick what you got going on so that,
Yeah.
he's got, actually, I'll let you do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. Let me see. Let me go to, okay. Oh, that's my phone. That was the next part of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this guy here. Let's see if it, yep. All right, so I'm going to move this around just so you can see. So I am shooting with, damn, the latency is bad on this thing, huh? There it goes. Hey, Omar. So this is a GoPro Hero 3. I have the Hero 7. I also have an 8. I have the 5. I have a bunch of them, but I picked this one because it's outdated, it's old, and it's at 720/60. I also have this guy back here. He gets it into focus, which is the Canon C100. I purposely put this one in the mix because it's more of a prosumer camera. Let me see if I can zoom in some. I'm doing this kind of looking in the TV instead of where I need to go. So it's a prosumer camera, more expensive, something that I would use on like a shoot, sports shoot or something like that. And then I have the Sony Handycam, which is the one I'm moving around, which is the price point for this camera that I'm using, the little Sony Handycam. I want to say I got it for no more than 150 bucks. Let me see if I can show that one from this angle. So as you can see, move it around so you can see it. It's just a little handheld Sony camera. I don't know if you can see that, but it's tiny. Like, I purposely, and I told Omar this, I have other professional cameras. Rather than set up all professional cameras, rather than do it all, you know, I wanted to do it in a manner where the person at home who is setting up a stream for that day decides, you know what, I'm going to stream today. I have a GoPro. I have another tiny camera. I have this camera. Let's plug them in and let's go. Because, you know, my daughters, they're not rich. They're, you know, if they want it, they got to work for it. So, you know, I want them to be able to have it, but utilize what they have. So if one of their pads can hook up to it, their little pads that they have can hook up to this, and they can use the camera from their pad to put together a production. They both have their own pads, and now they have 2 cameras. You know, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to put something together that would be a very low budget production center for them, you know? And yeah, it
works.
Yeah, no, and I like that. And just to iterate, I'm using my Mappy Pro's web camera when we try to do stuff on the road. I try to use, actually my phone becomes a camera for me, and I have the iPhone 11. And then when I do streams on a more professional level, I go to my Canon Rebel T3i as one of the views, and usually someone's providing a robo camera, something like that, to me for the rest of it. So again, I totally I agree with Jason. Instead, we talked about it beforehand. I thought that was great because this is kind of how we do it. I'm curious. I know, Bodhi, I think you use a Logitech web camera. Is that correct?
Yeah, I use a Logitech C922 is the webcam that I use. I do want to switch into a DSLR, but I figure if I'm going to switch into a DSLR, I'm going to wait and go big or go home. Basically, I'm going to get the final, and that's kind of how my end goal goes with building for my stream. Is if when I go to get something, I don't want to take baby steps to it. If I want to be able to afford to get what I want for end game. So Omar ruined me. He showed me the Pro Cinema, the Blackmagic Pro Cinema.
Yeah, awesome.
And the pocket. I got to keep, it's the Pocket Cinema.
Right.
I am absolutely getting that thing. That thing is a beast because that camera itself also has a live feature on it where you can go live right from the camera. So I can do IRL stuff from there. But yeah, right now I use the Logitech 922. It is the only webcam sub 100 that does 1080p 60 frames a second for anybody that's interested as well.
And then Zach, you had something you wanted to bring into this, and then I want to jump to Pepe and see what cameras you're using.
I know it's kind of getting, I mean, it's still with the cameras. I know the Pro can, I don't know if the Mini can, but if you're using Blackmagic cameras, the software actually allows you to control them, all the color correction, black levels, all that stuff.
Same.
So the Minis do the same thing?
Yes.
That's pretty dope.
It's all because it's all through the software. It's basically, it's really not the Mini, it's the software. And Blackmagic ATEM software, you're using the same software on the Mini that you're using on the Pro, that you're using on the one that you have, that you're using on the one that Henry has. It's all.
Yes. So the one Henry and me have, definitely, you plug in a Blackmagic camera, you run the feedback, the SDI lines, and we can control that stuff on ours. I wasn't aware the Minis do that. And Pepe, what kind of cameras are you using for your setup? Because yours is
I have a DSLR. It's a 5D Mark III, so it's a full frame camera with a good lens and all of that. So Yeah.
So yeah, so you're definitely on the higher end there, and that's why your images look so good. So again, before I jump into the next one, I'm trying to see. I think Aaron was the one who asked it. Brendan asked that. Brendan asked that question. So if we didn't answer it, let me know, and we can come back and touch it again on it. I feel like we answered it. Did Freddie or Robert, you guys have anything you want to add? I saw some movement there, but I wasn't sure if you guys had anything. No. Robert says no.
Yeah, I actually wanted to see what's the difference between the ATEM and the Roland V8. But I guess for the money, the ATEM does what it does.
So I haven't experienced the Roland myself. I know that is, I guess, really the only other competitor out there right now. I think there's three of them, right? There's the ATEM, the Roland, and there's one other one that was like a
AV Matrix, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's like an off-brand name that I wasn't really familiar with. Does anybody here or in the community on Facebook have any input on that? Go ahead, Robert.
Well, now that you brought up the Roland, I use that Roland as well, and it's easy. I mean, I sat down, looked at it, and like 5 minutes later, I had everything up and running. Yeah. Ready to go. So it's pretty easy. Just sounds like what the Blackmagic is for the ATEM.
Here's my caveat with the Roland, and you tell me if I'm wrong about this. The one that I've used, which may be a different version, my biggest caveat was that in order to get so the Blackmagic, I use the software, right? Or I can use the interface on the board itself. When I went to go to the menus to dive in there to change settings, it was only displayed on my program output. Is that still correct with the Roland?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So for me, that's a thing. Like if you're a person who has to change things on the fly all the time or needs to because of its live events, right, you kind of get locked out. I feel because the menu ends up showing up on the program side. And you can't like once you're in motion, that's it. You can't change anything else out unless you get it off.
Right, and yeah, you definitely have to make sure that the visual is off because it will pop up accidentally in a live situation.
Which particular Roland are you guys talking about?
So the Roland I'm talking about is the VCH or VHS1, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, the little small Roland, they're freaking awesome. I like them.
And then the other thing about the Roland I'll add is that one of the ports is scalable. Is that correct?
Yes, it has two of them, and I'm referring to the V8 HD HDMI switcher. It's a new one, but yeah,
it's the bigger one, lighter version of the one that I have, which is the V60. Which is just mine. Also has XLR inputs and as well as some SDI inputs. You get up to like their V50. They have actually composite analog inputs. There's I think they have some USB connection. I think that one may even have a USB connection for converting.
Yeah, I actually like the
capturing.
The V50 HD. It has a USB 3 out for you can encode right out from it to a computer to come up as a laptop. I've actually gone out to like WebEx to GoToMeeting and Blue Jeans straight from the Roland with nothing else because it took a couple mic inputs, and we're streaming 1080p out. So,
but I believe that one is.
Expensive.
I saw it renewed on Amazon for 10,000.
This is the streamer
like
one. This is the streamer one right here.
You got to do a screen share of your phone.
Yeah, or you got to cut the background out.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Yeah. Well, you get that. Did I cut you off, Freddie? No, Victor, you had a question.
Yeah, I was just going to share that PSAV. They were using analog way, and they took out all the quick views from every property. All of them. And now they have their little Rolands.
Yep.
The $900 Rolands.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, they took all the quick views out. They had bought quick views across the board, and 3 years later, they took them all out. And they decided to go with the Rolands because it was more compact and more, it was just easier for setup, easier for takedown, and easier for storage, easier for everything, So they took the whole analog out. So the only thing they have in the properties is these, and whenever they have a bigger show, they show up with the Ascender if they have to do a matrix show or something,
right?
Or an LED wall or something. But PSAV, that's it, man. They're going small like that.
Yeah.
And PSAV, I don't know, man. You guys, I'm a PSAV freelancer, but I'm a freelancer for everybody else. So they're gonna have a tough time, man, They are gonna, I mean, all their gear, all their guys. I don't know if any of you guys work for them, but they furloughed their whole force down here in South Florida. At least down here in Miami.
Right.
Everybody, labor person, everybody. Nobody's, I don't know where they are right now. So I'm glad that I went virtual. Crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy, man. It's like a ghost town, man. You know, so it's, yeah. So Roland, everybody went with Roland. So it's one of I wanted to share that.
I'm looking at the specs on that, the V8 HD, and it looks pretty interesting. It doesn't do the streaming like the Atem Mini Pro, but it's got, 8 HDMI's and.
Something you have to look out for on Roland is there's a limit on some of the models. There's a limit to the frame rate.
Yeah,
the outputs.
And you can't do a still store on those, on the little Rolands either. I don't think.
Correct. I'd have to. Yeah, you'd have to.
You could on the quick view, but you can't on the little Rolands.
I think they have a different RCS for each of their models.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's not like the Blackmagic.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to Pepe and then Robert.
Well, I just want to point two little things that I would love to have here with the Atem Mini Pro. And one is it's a head jack, like audio head jack monitor to monitor the audio. And the other thing is this guy don't have a switch to turn it off and on. You need to just unplug it. So I really would love to have I know that Atem always have a bunch of device apps like that, but I would love to have like a switcher just to turn it on and off.
Robert?
And the Roland that I used was with PSAV, but I used it only for camera switching.
Yeah, as a sub switcher.
Yeah, so and then whatever I was doing went onto the Ascender.
Yeah, we use it as a downstage monitor, like a sub switch,
Yeah.
Which Roland is that? Is that the VR1 HD?
Yeah, the little one.
Yeah,
the four input.
Yeah, the still store on that is only via USB.
Yeah, via USB. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So just to get us back on track, I know Jason's got one more part, and then we can keep diving into this Q&A stuff. I don't want to get too far off base here. Awesome that we brought up the Roland, though. I'm really glad that we brought up another switcher that has some pros and cons to it, just like everything else. The main point of this AV Tech Talks is to learn as much as we can about what's out there, so that when we enter a room, whether we own it or not, we're prepared mentally for what we're about to do. So yeah. Anyways, Jason, let me come back to you. Kind of take it away. Wrap up where we're at. We're just past that hour mark right now, so we definitely have another hour of Q&A to get into.
Okay, awesome. So real quick, I'm glad you guys brought up the Roland, because that allows me to delve into what I'm talking about now. The Roland at a price point of $995, it gives you some more options, but for the Mini at $295 or for the Pro at $595, I can basically do the same thing that the Roland is doing at a cheaper price point. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take it into a breakout scenario. So I don't know how many people have opt breakouts and may have been in the same room for the entire week. Everything's been going great. You're on day 3, you're 3 sessions in on your 8 sessions for the day, and something goes wrong. It's been smooth the whole time, but all of a sudden something goes wrong. Well, the good thing about having this type of equipment in your tech bag is, along with your dongles and everything else that you have to have as a breakout tech, is if the switcher in that room may be one of the more expensive $6,000 switcher or whatever, it goes. It just stops working in the middle of the session. You're in session 4 on your 3rd day, it stops working. I have something that I need to figure out on the fly. I have a room full of people. I have a client that is explaining whatever it is he's trying to sell. He's paid a lot of money for that platform to be able to talk to these individuals. What do? Do I get on the radio in, hurry up, we need a switcher. Oh, we don't have one in the boneyard, or the boneyard is in another building. What do we do? Well, I tell you what we do. Battery is low. Something is dying on me. But anyway, what we do is we literally, that's actually.
Speaking of live show,
I'm sorry, live show. My cameras are dying over here. But so what we do is I literally snatch this out of my bag. I figured out, I ran up, saw what was wrong. I see the switcher's gone. It's plugged in. I've unplugged it, plugged it back in. I don't have nothing. I run back to my bag. I grab it. I bring it up. The client has 2 pieces of equipment. They have a computer that they're doing their deck on, their slideshow, their presentation, and they have a phone that they're doing a demo off of. So how fast can I get them plugged in? Do I have to go into the settings and get it all set up? I don't. I literally take my output, which is the aux. It's already set to program out of the box. I plug in my, I plug in the projector that's running from HDMI out into the projector. I plug that into my output. I plug in the laptop and I plug in their phone. And once I do it, like literally, let me see, in seconds, we're up and running. If this thing will change for me to my switcher. And for whatever reason, Zoom has been doing this with me all day. It's not liking to go back and forth on this for whatever reason. And I'm gonna go back to here and you're gonna see me. And for whatever reason, it has been doing this all day, huh, Omar?
Call AV.
Yes, sir. It has been doing it all day.
And tell them to tighten up. But for whatever reason, Zoom has been not liking when I go back and forth to the camera. It freezes me like I'm frozen now. But anyway, so it's probably not going to kick it. Literally, what I'm trying to show is no matter what your device is or what the video is that's coming out of it, you plug it into the ATEM switcher and the ATEM or the ATEM Mini, or I'm not sure about the Pro, I haven't touched it, but for my Mini, I plugged my phone in. I didn't have to go into any settings in my phone at all. It was on the screen. I plugged my iPad in. I didn't have to go into any settings at all. It was on the screen. Everything that I did was, oh, there I go. So there's that. Let's go to one. Let's see if it'll switch. I'm locked. And then here's my phone. And this is my shameless plug, of course. I had to do it. I'm sorry. I had to. So, and literally that's from the phone. So that's the client's demo. They're doing whatever they do. They're switching back and forth from their telephone and whatever they have there to their slide deck. They're doing their slide deck. And I put that together in seconds. I come back to, their demo. They're happy because they're still doing what they do. And then I get on the radio after I've fixed the problem. And then I call to the boneyard and I tell the boneyard, hey, our switcher went out down here. There's a problem. I fixed the problem. If you have one, I need it down here. If you don't, order one. Or if it's a client that you work with all the time, you're doing 20, 30 shows for them. Hey, I'll just leave it in here for you. If it's a client you do one show a year for, hey, I'll rent it to you the rest of the show. It's all up to your discretion how you handle it, but you have that piece of equipment where at the end of the day, you've solved the problem, you fixed the problem, and the person who really matters in that situation is the client. They're happy.
Go ahead, Omar.
I just wanted to jump in. Jason just led like the perfect intro to what I wanted to talk about with Ed over here. So Ed, do you want to show real quick what we were talking about earlier, the little product you have for your ATEM that we can talk about real quick?
Yeah, I mean, first I want to say if we don't do an episode where Jason's kids show us how to do pour painting, I was riveted. I want to learn how to do that because that looks a lot more fun than 90% of what we do. So yeah, so I have my ATEM and I'm going to switch my camera source. If you guys give me 1 second. And I got to take my background off. There we go. So I'm actually going to hold my, I'm using just a GoPro. So there's my little guy. And a buddy of mine 3D printed me a stand for it because these things do get kind of hot.
Yes.
So he 3D printed me this little stand. Found a couple plans on the internet. Basically, it's two different little legs for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll flip it. So this is what it looks like on the bottom. It's got little feet, and the feet have screw holes if you were going to mount it directly to a table. This particular one has enough clearance where if you ended up with two ATEM minis, you could put the other one right in front of it and still plug in the HDMIs and have it flat on the table. But this gets a little airflow so that you can get the heat, especially once you're streaming, these things get pretty hot. But my other GoPro that I first started with wasn't playing nice, so it took me a little while to be able to get to show you guys this. Plus, you can see now my iPad and my laptop and my whole crazy setup over here. But that's how you do that. There's plenty of plans on. Sorry, switching my camera back. There's plenty of plans on the internet. I can find the link I had if any of you guys need it. But you know somebody who 3D prints. My buddy Chris, he was supposed to give me a link so that if anybody wanted to order them, they could. So reach out to me and I can put you in touch with my guy Chris, who Chris Thaxton from Connecticut. He got this to me in less than a week. Oops, somebody's mic's open.
Yeah, just jumping back on to what Jason was saying, those little things that Ed just showed you, and being, you know, if you're the user of this and you're bringing this kit with you, those little things is like those pro tips, those pro little accessories that you want to have with you.
Yeah. This
when you're a freelancer and you're doing this stuff. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I just took it off. This is how big it is. It's tiny.
Yep.
This is one side of it, and like the little feet slide on and off. It's great, and it just. Let's see if I can bring it over here. It just slides right on the side. Boom, I'm good to go. And you know, he didn't have enough black material in stock. It was going to take a little while to get black, but he could have made it in black. I said clear was fine, just something that wasn't offensive. You know, I didn't want neon orange if I'm going to have this on a show site. Or bright pink or something. So, although make it bright pink and no one's, you know, it's yours. Nobody can be like, oh, that's mine. But
hey, Ed.
Yes.
Do those legs block any of the inputs or plugs in the back?
They do not. I'll see if I can show you. I have very short cables going on, and let me kill my virtual background. You guys will see my ugly door.
They don't, Nate. They don't block no cables whatsoever.
Yeah, it does not. So
cool.
it slides. So I can slide it off the edge. I get it just as close to the edge as I can. There's enough room for the power cable and for, I believe that's mic 2 over here. So nope, does not block anything.
I'll throw in another pro tip here. If you guys ever want to invest, obviously we all have multiple laptops. I know I own 4. I invested in the DJ stands, and I use those a lot because they're perfect to put laptops on top of each other and save you space. It's a big thing that I do, and I don't see enough other guys do it. And the ones that I do it, you definitely see a much cleaner table, a much more organized layout, and it just helps you just have that quick feasibility of 2 things real fast here. So if you're using that with multiple ATEMs, I mean, that's going to save you tons of space and keep it clean looking and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, so I just wanted to, Jason just brought up a perfect topic to kind of side into that with Ed had going on, so I wanted to jump into that. But again, Jason, I apologize. I'll let you take it over again.
No, you're good. That's the type of stuff that as a tech, if you are a breakout tech and that's what you do, you have to have that type of stuff in your bag. If they bring a Surface Pro and the dongle for that Surface Pro is not in that room and you have to leave that room, run somewhere else because you don't have a walkie and you have to find it from somebody else, you should not be getting the rate you're getting to be a breakout tech. You need to have those things ready and available because, you know, realistically, as freelancers, we are only as good as our last show. If an end client has spent however crazy amount of money to put together this show, and you're the reason that they lost that person in that breakout for the next 10 shows that they do, you just lost your next job because the client that you're working for, freelancing for, it doesn't matter how many times you've worked for them. If you screw them, they're going to not hire you. You know, so that's the extra mile that personally I like to go. I want to make sure that I have those things. There are options, you know, as a freelancer, you know, we could talk about another day, but there are options if you have, you know, equipment like this that, like I said earlier, if it is a client that hires you for 20 or 30 jobs a year, what the hell do you care about a piece of equipment of yours being used for 2 or 3 days? Who cares? But if it's a client that only hires you for 1 gig a year, you can try to negotiate your rate. Hey, we don't have another switcher. Can we use yours? Sure you can. How about we negotiate it at this much per day and I add that on my invoice at the end? You know, that doesn't mean, you know, you don't do that to everybody because you can lose, you know, that guy who hires you 40 times a year could be like, oh, $50. petty. I don't want them no more. You know, so it's just up to your discretion to figure out who you can and can't do those type of things with. But at the end of the day, by having the equipment that you need, even though you don't need it, you are securing yourself for the next job, or hell, you're just showing that you have the work ethic to get the job done correctly, no matter what it takes.
100% agree with that. Yeah, and just a shameless plug here for AV Educate. But if you guys haven't seen it, look on YouTube or the Facebook page. Look at the Workbox Challenge I did at the beginning of the year. There's at least 12 engineers from video to audio. I think we had one lighting guy as well who opened up their case and showed you what they carry with them on each one, including myself. I did the first one. I opened up my backpack and my toolbox and kind of what I bring to a show. And I have enough gear for like, I would say mini breakout, minus screens and projectors, but I have enough to make it run. And most of my stuff, like Jason has, is Blackmagic ATAEM equipment, the streamer, the hyperdeck, the a 1x8 SDHCI and ATAEM switcher, 2 decimators, 2 PCDI boxes, also an extra sound port, and then I have a backpack with extra laptops. I mean, these are things I bring with myself as added value for when I get hired. And I do rent those things out once in a while too, the laptops, the switchers, all those. And like you're saying, yeah, there are clients from like, hey, don't worry, I got you, man, I'll take care of you. There's other clients from like, this is going to cost something. Like it's going to a different room or whatever the case is. So, you know, highly recommended, super good advice. So I want to throw that out there for guys who are newer to the industry or who are looking at what they should be bringing with themselves. Check out that at AV Educate in the events section. There's a whole section called Workbox Challenge, or go to YouTube and check it out in there. It's called the Workbox Challenge, and a bunch of high-end engineers opened up their kind of box for you and show them what they bring with themselves on site, and that's that added value you have. And then we also have a podcast that kind of gives you the double-edged sword, like Jason was talking about, where hey, these are things you bring with you, but you got to make sure as you level up, so does your clientele, so does your competition to them as well. You sell too much, if you're too aggressive, you act like a businessman too much, then you look like competition, not an asset. So it's a very tricky, slippery slope to be in, but something you need to do, and in my opinion, to get those higher end gigs, because then you're just a more recognized, more respected tech when you bring stuff with you that makes you better, that makes you more reliable, and then they know they can, hey, if something goes wrong, I know Omar has me. I'm always good with him. He's always prepared for it. You know, he's not the type of guy that comes here and is like, oh, if you don't have it, well, sorry, we can't make it happen. No, I'm always, let's just make it happen. I'll figure it out. Here's what I got to throw in the mix. You know, I got an extra decimator. Don't worry about it. I got an extra this. Don't worry about it. If you're that guy that goes on show site and you don't have that stuff, maybe you have a client that work with you, but in my experience, clients who know that when I hire him, where he's going to be on time, he's going to do stuff, and I'm going to bring stuff with me just in case, they feel a little more safer to have me on board. And most of the guys that I know that are at the higher end, I'm sure a bunch of the guys here in this video, they have their own kits with their own things they bring with them as constant needed tools to do the job the best they can on job site, not just what their client provides them. Because you know, there's different levels of skill sets, and one of them would be what you bring to the table, and that's always something you got to think about when you're freelancer. So
I just show up with my white gloves and that's it.
Need to get proctal exams.
So I bought a pair for people like you. It's in my, and I just leave it on your console. And I put my name on it, so you know who left you the gloves.
I think Victor was waiting to say something.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. Pepe, what about you? What's your experience? Do you bring your whole kit on the go, or you just do your streaming thing?
I bring everything. I just want to point one more thing. You know, I know sometimes I talk a little bit things like bad, but I want to talk about the good side. About, you know, Atem Mini is really good because you can put like whatever signal you want. But because we are here in the AV Educate, it's good for people to understand that, you know, like you need to understand about signal, about resolution, bit rate, and all of that. We're not saying just because this can handle everything, you know, like it's really easy, but you need to understand all of that, you know, 720, bit rate, color sampling, and all of that. I think is really important. Sometimes people just plug a decimator and they don't understand what's happening inside the decimator, and it's really good for people to understand what is happening. So I just want to clarify that this is a really nice piece of gear, but the AV people need to understand all of that. It's you know, like you're AV tech, so you need to understand all of that.
Yeah, we're definitely giving you a piece of the puzzle here. In no way, shape, or form are we saying if you watch us and listen to us, you have the whole solution. There's a difference, and I teach people when I do my classes in person. there's a difference, and I use audio as an example because I feel like it's the easiest one that relates to. There's a difference between knowing what a fader does and when to use that fader. And in live, that makes the big difference, especially when you're a switcher operator or an audio engineer, is when to take that cue and when not to take that cue. On the video side, you know, knowing what the button does and where it's going, where it's routed is great. Knowing all the resolution stuff is great, and you need to know that to be efficient at your job. But knowing when to take the cue and knowing when it's the right time to do it and not the right time to do it is what makes you that next level. So, you know, we're giving you as much as we can. We're trying to give you the pros and the cons of everything. But please know, knowledge is always expanding. It's always growing. But the experience is the other half you need in the live events world that I'm very big on. Like, I will show you what I can, but you'll still need the experience to know when to do those things and when not to do those things. That's all I got. Sorry. Anybody else can jump in after that.
I just want to say what Pepe said is 100%. You know, I'm giving you literally, like you said, a piece of the puzzle. You know, I'm giving you the quick and down and dirty way to do things. And that's why I broke it up into the 3 parts that I did: the description, how to get quickly onto a live stream, and then also how, you know, we would use it in our world in a breakout situation. But again, yeah, Pepe, I 100% agree with what you're saying. If you are going to purchase the switcher and you're going to utilize that switcher for business, you want to make sure that you also understand, you know, your signal flow, and you want to understand, you know, how you're doing what you're doing. And then that way, if something goes wrong, you know how to go back and figure out why and fix it, you know, because 90% of our job is troubleshooting.
Yeah, sure.
100%, 100%. So we got, unless I'm wrong, Ed, we got 20 minutes left for our 2-hour session here. Jason, have we covered everything we got here? Are we fully open for Q&A at this moment?
100%. I've touched base on everything, really.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, so a couple of things I want to touch back on. If you want to dive deep into this, again, I will say the audio got a lot of hits really quickly on the Facebook side. I don't know if you want to dive a little bit deeper into that. Ed, if you want to bring in some more sources we haven't talked about yet. Pepe, if you have anything on your end, and Jason, there was one question that was talked about, or not a question. So there was a comment by AV Trainer, which I gotta look for real quick, but it was something about the 3.5, which I think you talked about being balanced and unbalanced and being careful with the cable itself.
Yes. Yeah. So there's again, that's why I definitely want to do a deep dive into it. Yeah, I saw that comment that AV Trainer posted, and that's why I kind of said, yeah, we're gonna dive into it deeper, because it can get kind of technical. So balanced audio basically has the same audio on 2 of the pins with one of them flipped. Okay. So when you plug in an 1/8 inch, if you were just going like straight XLR out of your mixer with a single cable instead of like 2 XLRs, so you're just trying to do like mono, it's going to sound weird because one of those pins has the audio in the opposite phase. So they're going to be, you know, opposite polarity. So they're going to be out of sync. They're going to cancel. When you bring up both of them stereo, you're going to get nothing. You'll be like, this thing doesn't work. It's a piece of junk. Let me sell it to one of these guys who are looking for them. Which, please feel free. If you think it sounds like junk, sell it to all of us at a discount. We will all take them because you think they sound like junk. But one of the things AV Trainer mentioned on there was, you know, you don't want to use 1/8 inch plugs with XLR. That's more on the input side of a mixer, because if you accidentally turn on phantom power, you can, you know, kill your phone. So if anyone's ever done that, had their 1/8 inch plugged into their phone and then go an XLR straight into a mixer and turned on phantom power, or if it's like one of those little Mackie mixers where it's like global phantom, so you don't even realize it's on every output. So there's considerations with all of those things. But additionally too, the mixer, as I mentioned earlier, and why I brought up that the clean box, the Art clean box, the level is going to be hotter than what the ATEM wants. So your mixer is capable of putting out a much hotter signal than what the ATEM Mini wants. And unfortunately, ATEM Blackmagic posts a spec that is like nearly useless when they talk about what the maximum input level is on that mini jack. They say +6 dBV, which almost nobody measures anything in dBV. But if you understand what the difference between dBV and dBu and dBFS and all those things, you can backwards figure out what it can handle and what it can't. It doesn't leave, you could run, if you had the right adapters, you could run a mixer right into this thing with the Mini if you adapt it the right way, and still have a little bit of headroom. But the key is you only have a little bit of headroom. There will, so if you're going above 0 on your meters on your mixer, you're probably going to distort because you're going to clip the input at the ATEM. So without getting too crazy at this point, I'm definitely going to do a deeper dive on this. I'll even put up some charts so people can understand what that dBV means, what that dBu means, and try to make sense of it for people. But if anybody has any questions in the meantime before we get to that, because it might be a couple weeks before we dive into that, we have a few things lined up between now and then. Please just send us a message and I'll try to help you get through those things. Or I can direct you to posts that I've already put up in the ATEM Facebook group that kind of explain that. And if you search my name, just Ed Willock on Facebook, you can probably find my post in the ATEM group. And I went kind of in depth on it the other day, and I don't know how many people wanted me to shut up or were like, oh, that's awesome. So let me know either way. What's up, Omar?
So I got a question from Gibson George I want to get to in a second, but before I jump into that, again, with the whole pros and cons theme we keep doing here, either Robert or Victor, or even Nate, does the Roland have an audio functionality the same way the ATAM does? And how similar or different is it? Go ahead, Nate.
So it really depends on the version of the Roland that you have. Mine has, as I said, I think it has 6 inputs, but it also takes, so it's got 4 XLR, RCA, and maybe a 1/4 inch as well. But it also takes audio in from all of your video sources as well. And then you can route it through, depending on, again, how robust the switcher is, whether it has an aux or a program, or you can send it to the various outputs. And it's all very assignable, either within the software or on the switcher itself. When they came out with the V1, that was very exciting because you suddenly had a multi-HDMI switcher that could go in your bag. But now that you have like this additional, streaming feature, suddenly you get like a lot of those other useful and very familiar features that are in the ATEM software, that especially in the audio side and the camera control side are very powerful. Roland does have some camera tally and camera control features, but their audio, I've been surprised, is particularly robust. I mean, I'm surprised coming from a video background, but when I first told people, hey, I'm looking at this this V series from this company called Roland, they were like, oh yeah, that's an audio company. They're making video now. But they were coming into the industry kind of at the same time the Analog Way was pricing a lot of their stuff to flood the market. So they found their own niche where you could get a lot of audio and a lot of video. There's, chroma key, luma key, all kinds of powerful features on Roland, but it's
picture.
Yeah, but it still is a bit pricier than obviously.
Yeah, on the small one you have RCA jacks in and outs. On the little 4 channel, that's it. There's nothing else on it.
So does the Roland also have the delay functionality the Blackmagic has, or they did it better, or,
Yeah, I've got delay on the mic I'm using right now, and there's a really incredible amount of it. There's no it's not really no knobs on my version of the switcher. Some of them are more audio centric. Mine's more video program preview bus centric, and it's got little knobs for the level. But once you go in, there's all the gain and comp and limiter and full EQ. I'm not coming from an audio background, but I know enough to recognize 3 parametric EQs and etc. Both on the inputs and on the output side.
Hey Nate, doesn't the Roland have a 12-channel mixer in it?
Honestly, I didn't even know about the V8 until we talked about it tonight. There's they have so many. It's really worth looking into for where, if that is something you want to have. Like, I own this as a Swiss Army knife that I could bring along if I thought, somebody told me that I'm going to be cutting cameras on a Barco E2 tonight, and I've got to switch the rest of the show. Well, I'm just going to plug this upstream and give it to the camera director instead of calling me to switch the cameras. He can just cut them upstream of me, and that kind of saved my butt. And it was only a $3,500 switcher when I bought it. That's what Jason was talking about earlier, kind of the Swiss Army functionality of this little box. There's so many things that you could put it in line in so many places to create an aux, to give yourself additional inputs if you have a very small switcher, or if you don't have a lot of. I only have 2 HDMI inputs on this one and 4 SDI, but if I plugged in the ATEM upstream of it, I'd have an additional 4 - 1.
Yeah, Ross also has a little 2-channel. You seen that, Ross? Ross has a 2-channel one.
I'm not as familiar with their
video.
products.
Yeah,
I did not know about Ross. That's awesome.
Yeah, Ross. So they're trying to get into the small switching. Everybody's trying to get into the small virtual, small compact. Who wants to spend $40,000 on a starter ascender?
I will have to look that up. Ross is definitely a name brand to look out for if they're making streaming software.
They have a small one with just 2 buttons, man, and a toggle right in the middle.
Before I get a sender, I get the Blackmagic Constellation.
Oh yeah,
that boy. Woo,
senders are out now. They're on the way out. But yeah, that one, the one you're talking about, that's a beast now, man. Because you could do everything with that.
Let me ask this. This will be my last audio question, and then we'll jump into Gibson's question here. So Bodhi, if let's say we're doing it on the streaming side, would you delay your audio if you were having problems on your mixer, or would you do it in OBS?
Depends on what's causing the delay. So it all depends. You do your little clap and see where it's coming from, and then you adjust your delay from there. So it could be my mixer that's doing my mixer here doing the delay, which then I can go into the background of the mixer and adjust the delay. Or if it's just my computer picking up the delay, then I go into OBS and adjust the delay. The easiest way to do it, obviously, is just going to be going to OBS and adjust the delay. That's the easiest way to do it. Unless you know how to go unless most mixers do have some interfaces to them when they're connected, but most mixers don't have a delay that you can go into. I have a digital mixer. So my digital mixer, I can go into the backware software. I can create delays on my mic. I can create delays on music. I can create delays on everything. So for me, it's a little bit different, but generally speaking, you would go OBS.
Got you. Okay, so again, Gibson's question real quick. We're down to the last 8 minutes of my
Sorry,
talking.
let me, just before we move on, to touch on that. You also have to look at how you're playing like your media sources, because if you do it in OBS, everything is going to be delayed. So if the lip sync on your video sources are fine, and then you delay in OBS for your mic, you're going to be throwing your lip sync off on your video sources.
No, not necessarily. You can go right in. You can go right into the mic and set the delay for the mic. That's where the difference. That's where the difference is. Again, in my world, that's where the difference is, where I have different sources for everything, and I go to that source and adjust the delay, where you're grabbing complete and total audio going to your mixer, and then you're adjusting the delay from your mixer into OBS. You're adjusting it on all sound that's coming in. So for you guys in setup, it would be different. And that's why I said every situation is different. For you guys, you would have to find out where the delay's coming from and probably fix it on that end rather than fix it in OBS, because like you said, you would have a desync and lip display and sound quality if you're adjusting it in OBS only, because you're taking sound totality from a mixer, from Blackmagic, from everything, and putting it into the stream. Whereas me, I literally, my OBS is mic, music, chat, and desktop audio. So that's how mine's set up. I can set a delay for every single one of those if I need to, and adjust them if there's a delay. I can do that in OBS, or I can do that in the background. And the reason why I have them separated is because sometimes if chat's coming in hot, I can lower my chat volume, and I can lower it right on my mixer, and it adjusts it in OBS for me.
So just to clarify that, and if anybody needs to see it, raise your hand, and we can have Bodhi screen share it. Is that because in OBS, each one of your scenes, when you change scenes, right, your audio is attached to that scene. It's independent of each. They're not all on the same.
Hold on. We're going there. I'm trying to get it somewhere where it's not going to.
So when you're saying source in OBS, it's called scene. When you're changing between that, the audio.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because
Okay.
sorry, the way you're
screen-
explaining it in my mind is that every time you change a scene, that audio is following you.
All right, so I'm screen sharing. So let me kind of make these a little bit bigger for everybody so you can see. All right, so my starting soon screen, you could see where there's different things in here. The only thing I have in here is my mic, right? So here's my desktop audio. Here's my mic. I do have music as well. So if I have Spotify open or anything that's on that music channel open, it'll play through here. Then yes, I do have different audio: chat, mic, music, and then it has the desktop audio. So it's picking everything up. On my mixer alone, I have the music channel, the mic, and the chat and desktop audio. So it won't slide it in the audio mixer on OBS, but when I lower it on my mixer, it actually lowers it to the stream. So it does lower it in OBS. Same thing with my play screen. See, I still have the chat, the desktop, and the mic audio. So I can go into each individual property. Oh, I can't do it right now, but I can go into each individual property of these and I can delay them. So say the mic.
So what I'm seeing is like if you can just click on starting soon, your scene. Yeah, so your whole audio, that whole sources and audio all change with each scene, and you're controlling on any one of those what you're actually accepting to play audio wise and not, right?
Correct. Whereas when we're streaming, say from OPAV, we're grabbing one singular audio source and one singular video source and putting it into OBS. So any mics that are desynced or anything that's desynced has to be changed through the audio source itself.
Gotcha. Okay. I like it. I like it. So we're down to the last, I'm going to give it 5 minutes, even though a little less 5 minutes. Do we want to wrap up anything real quick? I know we're going to announce something for next week. I'm going to let Ed take over that one. Gibson's question here. Gibson's question was, can you show the A/B switching capabilities of the Mini?
Okay. So the A/B switching capabilities, for people that don't know, that is your program preview. You're able to set up the inputs to red or green. Red being your take, green being your preview. Yes, you can set that up. Again, that is inside of the software. And like I said at the beginning of this entire thing, I didn't touch on the software at all tonight because, oh, my light just popped. But because I wanted to show the ability of plug and play, pulling it out of the box, plugging it in, pulling sources, video sources from different pieces of equipment that didn't have the same video standard, one being 720/60, one being 1080p, and one being 1086 or 1080/60i, and plugging them in directly, and we are automatically seeing signal. Again, like Pepe touched on, this isn't the ideal way to do things. You want to know everything that is happening, but I wanted to show a real world, I have this in my bag, oh my God, I need it right this second. How do we make it work? And it works, and we're happy, and then we figure out why later. It isn't the ideal way, but this piece of equipment allows you to do it. And like I said, pulling it out of the box, it allowed my 7- and 8-year-old to push buttons and know that they're seeing things. They might not have known why, but they were able to stand in front of one camera and say, hi, and then run over to the other one and they push the button, hi. You know, they knew that they were doing something like what Daddy does on shows. So, you know, it was a pretty cool thing. And, you know, again, shameless plug, they have their show. And my idea was to have them create one of those shows with their equipment themselves, and they could see that they were the ones who put it together. Now they see what we do on a bigger scale. So
like we said earlier, we're excited to see the show.
Yeah. So my Mini Pro, I actually, when I just default did it in preview program. So I can just show you things turn green. I don't have a second source plugged in at the moment. I just have this one GoPro. So if I actually take it, it will go blank. But you can see that my greens are now would be in preview.
Right.
And then, am I upside down or back? Oh, never mind. I'm looking at too many screens.
You're backwards.
Is it backwards? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they're backwards.
I've been backwards the whole night, man. I just.
It's all good. It's all good.
Hey.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm using the GoPro and I've got it on a weird mount. But yeah, so that's, but you can see the, you know, the previews turn green and.
Yeah. But Gibson, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to open that up, show you the Mini. Yes, it is in the software. Yes, you can choose it. You can even in the software, for whatever reason, you can change that your program is green and your preview is red. Don't know why, but you know, maybe some people want to do that. They have that option in there as well. So, yeah.
You guys better not walk away from your stations.
A lot of
You'll come back and I'll have flipped your colors on you.
yeah, a lot of people means green means go. So
right.
All right, so we're at the 2-hour mark right now, guys. I want to wrap this up. I want to thank our guest Jason Liermann for being here and doing all that he did for us today. Thank you very much for showing that and presenting it to us and showing your kids. I wanted to thank Pepe, who had to jump out real quick for a family thing, coming in and kind of helping us as well on the other side and playing off of everything we got going on here. Of course, always a special thanks to Ed for being here and Chris for being here. Especially Chris, happy birthday, man. I'm so sorry we didn't do an announcement sooner and we didn't make something for you, but that's my apologies.
It's all good.
But happy birthday.
I'm only
again,
21 for the 13th time.
So real quick, I'm going to let Ed close us out like always, and we do every night. He's got some special announcements to talk about before we wrap this up, and I hope to see you guys all next week.
Great. So actually, first of all, did anybody not, I don't know, did we hear much from Zach or Robert tonight? Were there any questions or anything you guys had?
I cut in when I had a question.
Cool. Yeah, sorry, I'm managing a few things, so I might have missed that one question, but great. Glad everybody got something out of this today. It was a great deep dive. Again, thank you to Jason. That was awesome. Thank you for Pepe for joining us and sharing with us. That was great too. I think next week we're here every Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And next week, Ori is going to be showing us a little bit about QLab. If you guys aren't familiar with QLab, I know that this was a thing a couple months ago. People were asking, like, how do we get a QLab session going? Ori can deep dive us into it. If you don't know what QLab is, it's used very heavily in theater. Actually, Ori, maybe do you want to just give us like a quick?
Yeah. So QLab is a piece of playback software, and it's used a lot in theater, especially in the lower budget arena, but even some very high budget productions use it. You can use it to cue sound and video and lights and run them all out of a single machine. You can do blending with screens. It really is a Swiss Army knife of software. I'm only going to get into some of the basics in this talk, but if anybody wants to hear more, I'm sure I can come back and take a deeper dive.
Great, thanks. Yeah, no, I use it when I'm doing A1 gigs. I use it for play-ons all the time. So it's just so with the free version, you get 2 channels of stereo. You can edit clips. So invariably, when they hand you VOG and it's you know, there's a big breath at the beginning, or there's 6 seconds of silence before the person actually says the name of the person they're announcing. You can trim that up pretty much, you know, in the break between. You know, it's very easy to do. If you think like media server, it's almost like that from native or your machine, as only in the fact that you get multiple outputs. You could have layers of media. You can do blending, things like that. So check it out. Figure 53 is the manufacturer. I think it's figure53.com, right?
It's at qlab.app now.
Oh, okay. So
and it's Mac only, but if anybody wants to follow along, I encourage you to download a free copy and just prep a sound file and a video file.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you. So we'll be diving into that next week. We've got another show coming up soon that's going to be on Companion and Stream Deck, which, you know, we didn't even touch on. Stream Deck's work with the Atem Mini Pro.
Yeah.
So, you know, control software, that's another thing. And actually, I forgot, I was going to mention before, and maybe, Jason, you can correct me if I'm wrong. but I believe just like all of the other Blackmagic switchers, you could, if you have a switch and you have someone else on the software, they can actually be doing the audio for you.
Yep.
You can have multiple operators, not just one person. So, you know, if you've got more than one person handy, you know, like your kids or, you know, whatever in this time, you can have somebody else manning the audio while you handle the video, or vice versa. Omar, you were going to say something?
Yeah, and just real quick, you know, before we all wrap it up, just to touch on what Ed was saying about the streaming stuff. I mean, streaming, the, what are we talking? The stream box? I forgot the name already. Companion.
Stream Deck.
Yeah. Companion. Just to reiterate, guys who are watching this either after the fact or in the feeds right now, we dive in as deep as you want us to dive in. So we always cover the basics and we dive deeper into the questions and the Q&A side. So for next time you see us on Monday at 7 o'clock, like Ed's saying, if you want to know more about it, ask us and we will talk about it. If you don't ask us, we won't talk about it. So that's kind of how we do these talks here. Everybody knows about how that works here. Just want to reiterate that for the users out there that this is how this works. You guys ask us the questions, we'll dive into it. You don't ask the questions, we don't dive into it. Simple as that.
And also with the Blackmagic, like Ed, I could have Ed. I'm in Florida. Ed is in New York. Ed can actually control audio from New York. And also with the Blackmagics, I use Strata. It's an app that I could be in front of. I could be my ATEM could be behind the screens, and I could be at front of house at the audio console, controlling the video from the Strata app, controlling my switcher. You could do that as well.
Cool, great points. No, that's great. Yeah, we didn't get to dive into everything that the ATEMs can do, but I hope everybody out there was able to pick up a little something. Based on the chat, it seems like they were, and that's why we're here to spread knowledge for people who are just beginning or more advanced users who you know, nobody knows everything. So I pick up things every time we do one of these. It's great. So again, thank you everybody out on Facebook. Thank you to everybody here in the Zoom room. I posted in the comments on Facebook, if you want to be in the Zoom room, if you want to be in the room where it happens, there's a number you can text with your name, and we'll get you the link. You know, we'll follow up with you and tell you how you do it. We may be changing that in the upcoming weeks. We're trying to find a more efficient way to do it. So our panel, we'll talk to you guys in a minute if anybody has any ideas. But you know, this is an ever evolving show. So we're just happy to have you guys along for the ride. So thank you very much. At this point, we'll see you next week. And we're out.
Corey's background wave